Yeah, let's go. Don't fade out too early. They still podcasting will be done late on a Friday night. The sissies go to bed early, right? Sleepyhead. I was always curious what happens later in the night. Don't want to miss nothing. And I was a kid. My mama let me stay up late on Friday and Saturday night. 9 o'clock curfew for the week. Cool. Sunday through Thursday. Had that curfew. But on Friday and Saturday night, my mom was rather cool. She said, as long as you behave, I don't care how late you stay up. So some nights I would stay up all night long. There wasn't much to watch on TV back in those days. In fact, after about 11 or 12 o'clock, there was nothing. You're so blessed today. But I found ways to occupy my time reading or whatever, listening to music. So we come to you late on a Friday night. A little later, Rob and me had some things to discuss after the show. I said some nights the MAGA report might be a little later. And that's what happened tonight. So we got back up as quick as we could. And we will not cheat you, though, on the time. It will be for 1 hour. If something happens, we need to go past it. We ain't scared. We'll go past it. A lot of news. I told you the MAGA report is important. Not late news because there's just too much to cover. A lot's been breaking today, and I want to cover it, at least on a surface level. Hit as many of them as we can because they interest me, and I think some of it will interest you, even if you hate the news item. That's true. I still got my dog's hat on. I didn't switch. Stand with the dogs through all the shows. We started out with sports. We went to Front Porch Talking, and now we're at the MAGA Report. I'm Dave the AM, your host, coming to you live from the Studio A, broadcasting beside the still waters of the Southern Fried River that is filling up because of all the rain we've had. And it has been a lot of rain, and it still continues to come down. So we're getting a lot of rain. Thank the Lord for it. I hope nobody's been injured in flooding, lightning, or whatever, because it has been intense across the South on this Friday night. Have a great weekend of shows. Again, in the morning, have at least one show that I will be live with the Angry Conservative for the interview series at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I will not be on air for the rest of the day. Then Sunday morning in the Word, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Miss Regina from the Dialogue Box. Sunday night for sure, SFP. Jerry says it's beginning to sprinkle in Oxford. Brother, we've been rocked. I hope you don't get any of the heavy stuff, but it is a long band of storms. I looked at the radar, and it's wide and long and got a lot of color in it. I hope it avoids you just get some good old steady rain, which is what we're getting right now. We hope so. The liberals will be mad. We don't care. But the Trump administration and the family of Ashley Babbitt have reached a settlement. We concur. The Trump administration has reached a settlement in principle with the family of Ashley Babbitt, who we know was killed, murdered on January 6th by Capitol Police. Yes, they don't like that. They get mad when you say it. They say, well, she was breaking in. And we saw the video. We know what happened. God rest, her soul and rest in peace. Shout out to her family. The settlement resolves a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Judicial Watch on behalf of Babbitt's husband, Aaron Babbitt, in January 2024. under the Federal Tort Claims Act. The settlement terms are not yet public, and the Justice Department and the lawyers for the Babbitt family say they have not signed anything yet, according to Politico senior legal affairs reporter Kyle Cheney. The two parties are reportedly working to finalize the details and get the settlement written down and signed within the next few weeks. So they have a settlement in principle. They've agreed on the major facts of the settlement. Joseph Gonzalez, a trial attorney with DOJ Civil Division, acknowledged the agreement during an emergency hearing on Friday. Reporting neither Gonzalez nor Robert Stick, a Judicial Watch lawyer, revealed the terms of the agreement or whether a monetary settlement was included as part of the deal. In the complaint, Judicial Watch alleged that Lieutenant Michael Burt, the officer who shot Babbitt, had failed to warn her or de-escalate the situation and had negligently discharged his gun. The conservative activist group also alleged negligence on the part of other officers near the Speaker's lobby at the time the shooting took place, as well as on the part of the U.S. Capitol Police and the Capitol Police Board for failing to properly train Byrd to make tactical decisions. Babbitt, as we know, is an Air Force veteran. Fatally shot while trying to climb through a broken window. Actually, that's not entirely true either. She was trying to de-escalate situations there. And we've seen that video. Her death has become a rallying cry, yes. And is frequently mentioned by the president, Donald J. Trump. There are some out there who mock her and say awful things about her, but we here at the Southern Fried, we lift her up. Pray for her mom, the husband, and her family. But a settlement has been reached. It will not bring her back, no. But it's nice to know some level of a settlement. Although really what should happen is somebody should be in jail. But at least something. I hope that helps. That should be satisfying to them to at least a point. And I don't care how much money they get. I hope they get enough they never have to worry again. They'll never bring back a loved one. And that's their business. It's not mine. I'm not looking to find out. I hope they don't release that. It's really nobody's business. I'm just glad that they've got something done. Hopefully I'll get signed and done in a few weeks. And kudos to Judicial Watch. China mulling fentanyl offer as icebreaker in stalled trade talks. It's interesting. There was an article on Bration today, or Bration. I guess I didn't say that exactly right. Bration, that the sanction against potential, Iran not buying their goods, oil, and all that had a longer reach about it, which would also say that if someone is doing business with them, you can't do business with that country. So here's the crux of the matter. We'll come back to this right here in just a second. If China is still doing business with Iran, does that not make them a country that cannot be traded with or bought from? That's an interesting thought. I don't know the legalese of this, what the president has signed. It's worth looking into. That would be huge, as the president says a lot. We need to find out a little more about that. We know that fentanyl has, it's wreaking havoc in our country. We know that. You'd have to be living outside of this earth to not know somebody that's affected by the fentanyl. And it is absolutely terrorizing our communities. It is destroying families, and people are dying left and right. We've got to get a handle on it. I know many people right now whose lives have been messed up. Fortunately, they didn't die, but they have all ended up in prison. And those that are not doing great. It is It is absolutely horrible. I know of situations where people have been found by others, and if they hadn't have found them, they would have been dead. So, but people are dying all over the world, but all over America, the fentanyl, and it is affecting. I mean, a lot us in all kinds of ways. So the article says that China is mulling avenues to address the Trump administration's concerns about fentanyl trafficking, talks that could be an quote-unquote icebreaker into more expansive trade discussions, the Wall Street Journal reported Friday. So a major news service is reporting this. The Trump administration has accused China of dragging its feet on addressing the issue. Of course, China is the main supplier of the ingredients or precursors that are used in making fentanyl, the drug behind a national crisis that has the president and he has used as a justification to slap an additional 10% tariff on Chinese imports in March. In recent days, China's Minister of Public Security, Wang Jiahong, has asked the Trump administration what it wants to see from Beijing, according to the report. Further, Wang could meet with Trump administration officials in the U.S. or a third country for further discussion. China would first like to see some softening and sincerity. Oh, nice terms for China to use. Softening and sincerity. Ain't that nice? From Trump on the 145% tariffs he has slapped on the country. According to the report, fentanyl can be the icebreaker for the two countries. It's weird that it's used in that expression, fentanyl used as an icebreaker. To start with a more positive tone, Yoon Sun, director of the China program for the Stimson Center, a Washington think tank, told the Journal both sides are eager to get some negotiations started. So we'll see. We'll see. So they're dangling the carrot, I guess. Well, maybe we could help you out there with some of that fentanyl that we're making a killing on and shipping into your country to destroy you. Maybe we'll do a little bit for you if you'll lift some of those tariffs. So we'll see. So it just goes to show you, it is having an effect on Chinese goods. And they're anxious to get something done. We'll find out how anxious they are. Right? The president wants to have a parade for his birthday. I like a good parade, especially a military parade. The Army has confirmed that the parade will be on Trump's birthday. It is the 250th anniversary parade on his birthday. Confirmed that this will be in June as part of the celebration surrounding the service's 250th birthday. Plans for the parade call for about 6,600 soldiers to march from Arlington, Virginia, to the National Mall, along with 150 vehicles. Man, I would like to see that. And 50 helicopters. Until recently, the Army's birthday festival plans did not include a massive parade, which they said will cost tens of millions of dollars. Of course, people will jump on that. Hey, you're saving money, but now you're wasting it. But Trump has long wanted a military parade. We have a long history with that. It's nothing new. Anybody that says he's trying to be like a Hitler or somebody like that, parades go way back in our country, military parades, way, way back. Even during the war between the states, both sides had parades when time afforded it. And so this is nothing new. In fact, Abraham Lincoln liked a good parade too. He has long wanted, Trump wanted that parade in conjunction with the birthday festival. Less than 2 months ago, he started having discussions. The Army's 250th birthday happened to coincide with his 79th birthday on June 14th. When asked about the parade Thursday, the White House did not respond. An Army official said no decision has been made. So we'll see. 50 helicopters, that's pretty cool. Back in the day, some of the cavalry was a big part of parades back in the day because that was the mode of transportation for most part, trains and of course wagons, but your cavalries were huge. And so they would have these big infantry, yes, that also have cavalry parades. And you could sometimes they'd set those up in the field and you would have the review as a dignitary came out in the field to check on the troops, and they would line up the cavalry and run them through. It's very common. You go back and read the stories, you'll see that they would do that. Of course, Democratic D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser acknowledged that the administration reached out to the city about holding a parade. At the time, she said that tanks rolling through the city streets would not be good. Like, we don't have parades already, and we don't have tanks, and we don't have, come on. If military tanks were used, that would be accompanied with many millions of dollars to repair the roads. You mean they're not already filled with potholes? Come on. Maybe it'll flatten them out where they're kind of level again. If the military tanks were used, they should be accompanied with many millions of dollars to repair the roads. Democrats always looking for a payout. I'm not saying there might have to be some repairs. But if you talk about potholes around the country, every state has a problem. They're already in a bad shape. I mean, come on. Oh. Interesting article. And I remember when he kicked for the Atlanta Falcons. But former NFL star kicker Jay Feely, he's looking to score politically with a win to represent Arizona's 5th congressional district, and Congress told Newsmax Friday, today, for a little while longer, that he has turned his attention to politics because, like many Americans, he is concerned for the future of the country. But he said it was the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump last summer that led him to make his decision official. Feely, an Emmy Award-winning NFL analyst for CBS Sports, told Newsmax's National Report, I remember exactly where I was that day. That day stood out to me dramatically. I started to ask myself, what am I willing to sacrifice for my country? Ask not, right, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Because I love my job. I love broadcasting, doing games. It was fun. I only had to work 5 months of the year, and then we got off 7 months. But he says he knew there was a bigger picture, and I really felt that pressing from God. He's running to fill the seat being left by Representative Andy Biggs, Republican Arizona, who is running for governor. Remember, Biggs has been in the news quite a bit as he has cited, he was one of the 7, I believe, that, would stop votes and stuff. So I'm pretty sure that Biggs is one of those that stood with MTG and others, Matt Gaetz. But he's running for governor of Arizona. When Andy Biggs decided in January he was going to run for governor, the seat where we have lived for the last 15 years here in Arizona would become open. That's when I decided, you know what? I want to serve my country, said Feely. That's how I view politics. It's really about civil service. He explained he's been concerned for some time considering what happened with, we won't say the word, but everybody remembers those horrible times of mask and everything else, and all the liberties we lost, and then the BLM riots and the hypocrisy that existed, watching our cities burn and people get murdered, businesses being destroyed, and then there's the politics, the transgender stuff that was going on with our children, the situation with the border. For 4 years, the Biden administration lied to the American people, and they said that they needed a bill passed to do anything at the border. They put politics in front of the protection of the American people. They did it willingly. And those families that were impacted by illegals, whether it was murders or rapes or fentanyl overdoses, the Democrats should stand up and apologize to every single interview. In every single interview they do, they should say to the American people, we were wrong. They ain't going to say that. We lied to you and we apologize. Well, he is speaking right on out there, and I like that. Bless you, son. You're more than a kicker. And he was a dang good kicker. I like that. He goes on to say about the president, even liberals have to admit that he's a fun guy to be around. Speaking of Donald J. Trump, Mr. Feely says, I've been blessed to be around President Trump a number of times. We played golf together a few times, and you saw it there. He's got a great sense of humor. He's incredibly smart. We were talking about Biden's decline, how the media hid it, and I think that was evident to the American people. Voters, meanwhile, saw another side in President Trump who understands the issues. He has a vast knowledge base, and he knows exactly what's going on, not only in politics, but in sports and around the world. And every time I've spent time with him, it's been a blessing, and I've enjoyed it tremendously. That's why I've been such a supporter all the way back to 2016. He said the first person he talked about running with was Biggs himself. He wanted to be sure he was all in for the governor's race. So there you go. Arizona has continued to be in the news. Been all the problems out there with votes and machines and different things. So he's stepping into a hot race and a hot state for a lot of things that are going on with election integrity. God bless you, sir. I wish you well. Just like Duncan for Senate in Texas that we had on the podcast here. I wish these men well. And the same story, you're hearing the same story from both. These people feel a greater call to serve their nation. Just like you've heard others that are actually in the Trump administration right now, said the call of the country is something that we must answer. This is so refreshing. Instead of people trashing the country and putting it down and threatening that they're going to go overseas and jump out and cancel their citizenship out, you've got people that are leaving lucrative gigs. Sometimes, this guy working 5 months out of the year. Others like Dan Bongino leaving a very lucrative career in broadcasting and podcasting and everything else to serve the country. That is refreshing. And it's contagious. And I think more and more people will get on board with that. And these people are independent of each other. That call is coming from within, and they believe it's a spiritual calling. It's deep within their soul to say, I want to serve my country. And you know why? Because they see all the demonic things that are going on in our nation, the attack on the nuclear family, the attack on our children, the attack on our schools, the attack in our cities and villages and all over the country from those that have been allowed to just run over the border. These are folks that are saying enough's enough and we're going to stand up. I knew when Biden said that enough's enough, that was going to turn around on him because he never meant enough's enough at making things better. He was just trying to use it as a way to sound tough. I said that day, we're stealing that from you. Enough is enough. Enough of you, enough of your policies, enough of the problems. And people they've said they've had enough and they're feeling the call. Now, I don't know if he'll get elected. That's a big seat. But he's talking the right talk. So I wish him well. I wish him well. That is absolutely amazing. I love that. Another article. Head Start survives the budget proposal. They apparently backed away from a proposal to eliminate funding for Head Start, the early education program that serves some of the nation's neediest preschoolers. Backers of the 6-decade-old program, which educates more than 500,000 children from low-income and homeless families, have been fretting about a leaked proposal which suggesting it would be defunded. Project 2025, the conservative blueprint drawn up by the Heritage Foundation, I like those folks, and co-authored by President Trump's current budget chief, also called for cutting Head Start. But the budget summary released Friday, which outlined programs set to receive drastic cuts or boosts, did not mention Head Start. On a call with reporters, the administration officials said there would be no changes to it. So we move along. I don't know how you feel about it. And some people have liked luck. I think it makes a difference. Some people don't. But there's probably a whole lot of other things cut that would make much more sense than that. My opinion only. And I don't want to offend anybody. Some of you may have been involved in that program, and that's okay. Just news. And so this has affected administration because the rallying cry from the left has been, oh, he's canceling your Medicaid. He's canceling your Social Security check. He's going to cancel this and that and other things. And yes, there has been some things they've had to redefine its role or how big it should be, the scope of it, how far does it reach? Is it something you can put back to the states? Do we need to reduce the workforce but keep, some necessary workers? These are all decisions that are being made. Our girl ALC is in the news. Historical town hall attendee screams at ALC, yells about genocide in Gaza, and says, quote, "You're a liar," end quote. I used to support you. They shouted at the New York Democrat, you're a war criminal, war criminal, war criminal. This is so-called the Democrats off guard. Remember when Biden was being hollered at, similar things, and Jill Biden was being questioned about it? They were so unprepared for that. They were so in shock about it. Like, what? What are you talking about? And there were those that were mad about what was happening in Gaza, and they turned on them. And they were they were the ones that were being called the warmongers and everything else, and they were so flat-footed on it, and they still don't know how to pivot off of that. It is a millstone around their neck, and I'm here to eat the popcorn on it, because they come out and they just threw that they could never lose support, and it has happened. Ocasio-Cortez first began speaking. She pulled up a PowerPoint presentation for the Nazi event. We've all done that. She was then interrupted before even getting through her first slide, discussing the Trump administration's budget cuts, including alleged cuts to the local healthcare systems. And here's the lady that stands up. This is what she said. I am a healthcare worker, and I want to know what you're doing about the genocide in Gaza. So she not only attacked her on that, but I am a healthcare worker. She shouted at the congresswoman. Shame, shame, shame. The audience began shouting at the disruptor. Audible boos could be heard as well. Ocasio-Cortez attempted to appease the disruptor, but nothing she could say calmed the person down. Staff at the event allowed the disruptor to continue yelling until they approached her and eventually let her out voluntarily. Shame on you. You're a liar. You're a liar, the woman screamed as others began to boo at her. Shame on you. I used to support you. You're a war criminal, war criminal, war criminal. After she left, then things quieted down. AOC, for her part, says, I am more than welcome people who disagree or are super pissed at me for any issue to come, but we have some ground rules here. She told the town hall attendees, please wait for the Q&A. I don't think that was a Q&A. I think that was a Q and slam, because we don't want to deprive all of our neighbors of the ability to have information and hearing them respond to them. We need to be able to have this conversation. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. They think it's funny when it happens to Republicans or conservatives. They cheer for it. They call for it. They beg for it. When it happens to them, it just totally shocks them. What? Well, we need to be respectful and let every opinion be heard, and then we can have an honest discussion. That's not what they say. They always say, go find the conservatives where they are. Don't let them get away with it. Go to where they eat. Holler at them from the street. Disrupt their lives. It's funny how that swings around, isn't it? I'm not saying the woman should have done it at all. I actually don't like people just standing up and, when you have a turn to say something or protest in the street, when you're in an event, have some decorum. If you get a chance to speak, say it straight out. Absolutely. I'm not a fan of this generation that sneaks in, rips off the shirts and has some sort of slogans or starts throwing chicken blood or whatever around. I'm not for that. I think that's low class. I'll just say it. People may disagree with me, but we have to have, it's a fair question. I'm not saying but the way it was presented, she didn't want an answer. She didn't want to talk. She just wanted to holler until she was removed. I'm not a fan of that. I just think it's interesting and funny that the Democrats are so flat-footed on stuff like this. Somebody like Ronald Reagan would have had a great quib to come back. He really would have. If only he were here. Or the Rush Limbaughs of the world, and I sure miss Mr. Rush. So we'll see where that kind of goes. We'll run a quick commercial. We'll be back. We'll get in the second part of our show. Thanks for watching the SFP MAGA report, your Monday through Friday, if I can speak, report that hits on the day's news from a Christian and conservative perspective, especially MAGA news. Well, there's a lot of people who hate that. They've called our background hate and sick. I know I'm on the right track. If I'm getting called those things, you absolutely know we're on the right track. We'll be right back. Hey, Southern Fried Podcast fans. This is Dave the AM for the Southern Fried Podcast. We want to advertise for W, who's got some special things going on. So are you tired of those energy drinks that you drink and they give you the jitters and the crashes that come from the typical drink? Look no further than W Energy Drink. It's a revolutionary new beverage that will keep you energized without any of those downsides. For a limited time, folks, a limited time, W is offering an incredible 30% off on everything they sell. That's right. You can stock up on your favorite flavors and save big while enjoying the smooth, sustained energy that only W can provide. I'm a customer member, and I can testify to this. I love this drink. No shakes, no crashes. And if it can help my mental acuity, I'm happy too. Awesome. They have a unique formula that provides you a perfect balance of focus and vitality without any of those unpleasant side effects that we don't want. No more of those shaking hands, crashing you in the middle of the day. Just pure clean energy to help you tackle any challenge that comes your way. But don't wait too long. This 30% offer won't last forever. Go on over to W's website now and start shopping. Remember to smash that promo code Southern Fried into the area where they ask you to put that in there, and it'll help us as well. You're still going to get the 30%, but it'll let them know that you are supporting us, and so we appreciate it today. So try W Energy Drink and experience the difference for yourself. Your body and mind will thank you for making the switch to the energy drink that truly delivers on its promises. Don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to save big and upgrade your energy game with W. Don't forget, use that promo code Southern Fried. Oh, yeah. We're back on the attack. Senator John Fetterman, Democrat, Pennsylvania. Oh, how things have changed. Remember early on? He was attacked. Was not fit to serve. The hoodies, the oddities about he did have a health problem. He seemed to be confused at times, said some strange things. When he got straightened out, he began to be coherent. The Democrats found that he didn't always side with them. Surprise, surprise, they're trying to address his supposed health issues now. The social media world has exploded today on a new expose about his time on the Capitol Hill. The report raised questions about alleged tensions, with his wife Giselle over his health regimen, his stance on Israel, and his reported run-ins with his staff. Everybody has had tensions at home at some time or another. You could not be a public figure and not have some tensions at times. It's amazing how they thought like that's some super secret tensions at home. Everybody's had tensions at some time or another. And the all by himself, John Fetterman insists he is in good health, but staffers past and present say they no longer recognize the man they once knew. New York Magazine's Intelligencer lays out recollections from current and former staff members who worked for the Pennsylvania Democrat. In May 2022, Fetterman suffered a serious stroke mid-Senate campaign against Dr. Oz. The article relates several reported instances, including a February 2023 situation at a Democratic caucus retreat at the Library of Congress. Oh, wait till you hear this. A staffer told the outlet that he received a message questioning how Fetterman was doing as he was found sitting at a table alone, silently drinking a soda. Ooh. Oh, wow. Can we not have quiet moments? I'm kind of a private person sometimes. I like to have my quiet moments. You spend your time speaking, teaching, training, podcasting. Sometimes it's good to have a quiet moment. It's good for the soul. It's good for your mental health and state and all that. The report went on to claim the lawmaker was nearly struck by a car and found wandering Capitol Hill. Physicians at George Washington University Hospital later determined he was severely dehydrated, and he had not had a second stroke as feared. An ensuing discussion with then Senator Sherrod Brown, Democrat of Ohio, found Fetterman to be nearly catatonic. When Brown tried to talk with him soon after on February, remember they always were bragging about his health. There ain't nothing wrong with him. He's great health, doing a great job. Remember during the campaign? Oh, he's fine. Oh, now, we're worried about him. Soon after that talk, he was admitted to Walter Reed Medical Center. After being discharged, Fetterman threw himself into his Senate work and became more, what's that word? I will skip it. It's in my tired state. Anyway, he was very much on top of issues like the Israel-Gaza conflict and other topics that have rankled, his Democratic colleagues. He also took a leading role in calling for the ouster of now former Senator Robert Mendez, Democrat, New Jersey, amid corruption allegations. Former and current staffers paint a picture of an erratic senator who has become almost impossible to work for and whose mental health situation is more serious. Oh, we can't work with him. It's complicated. Why? Because he has changed his opinion on stuff? That he actually sides with the Republicans on some things? That he actually said, I support the president's nominations. He even said it wasn't my first pick, but he's the president. Let's get him get his picks and move on. Doesn't sound crazy to me. Staffers wrote a letter about Fetterman's gutting betrayal supporting Israel. Gutting betrayal. Are you kidding me? The report went on to allege Giselle confronted him about Jerusalem bombing refugee camps. How can you support this? Giselle reportedly also went to staffers with her concerns, while a Senate physician in December 23 reported him acting bizarrely near the Senate subway, why he had not had blood work in months. They're totally turning on him, right? We said he had problems at the time. Oh, no, he's good. We said Biden had problems. Oh, no, he's passed all of his medicals. The doctors are raving about his health. No, not a problem. Now, Biden, he had problems. We tried to tell him. Now they're jumping on Fetterman. It's his fault. We got to do something with this guy. He sided with the Republicans. This guy's a nut. Got to do something with him. Can you see it? If I really thought that they were concerned about his health, I could at least ride with them. But they are so not concerned with his health. They weren't concerned about it when he was running for office. They weren't concerned with Biden when he was being pushed out there by all of his supporters, including his wife, holding him up, holding his hand, directing him where he's going. Oh, they were all concerned about his health, not until he lost. No, they're greedy. No, they'll do anything to be reelected. Fetterman does sound clearer now. We were all concerned about it. We were saying it. They were, oh, no, he's great. But he started kind of being coherent. He had reasoned responses. He would actually go and have a very nice press conference, or he would sit down with reporters and he would lay it out. He didn't seem just bizarre or acting weird or whatever. Okay, he probably still has some lasting effect of what he went through. Most people do on strokes. But he does not seem out of it to me. And just because he does not side with you against Israel does not mean he's lost his mind. Good grief. That's crazy. You know what's even crazier about it? It's this kind of a crapola that I worry about as an American citizen. Because one of the things they said is, they really push for this mental health thing about weapons and stuff. And I believe that in the future, what they want to do is find ways to determine just about everybody's got some sort of mental problem that has, is exercising their right, their Second Amendment rights. I really believe that's where they're headed with this. They've already came after the internet. They've already came after podcasters. They've already tried to shut down so many things. They outed people who own weapons and put them out in the news, gave their addresses. I know in many states this happened. These people are sick. And you want me to believe that you are really concerned about his health. Oh, what a pack of liars you are. No, you're not. If he was concerned about his health, you would have asked him to step out of the race when he was running. You absolutely are full of lies. Good Lord. Keep your little article and shove it. It's the best I got. You know what? He'll handle his affairs at home. That's between him and his wife and family. They go on to say the hulking lawmaker also reportedly nearly knocked over folks walking in the Capitol. But he's a big dude. You ever nearly walked into somebody, got your thoughts on your mind on your money, and your money on your mind? Both types of incidents rankled his wife. Oh, well, they want to get rid of him. You better watch your back, Senator Fetterman. Recommendation from the SFP. It's a Southern fried bit of wisdom. Best we got. Watch your back. Remember the movie? Watch your back, Jack? Yeah. Why? Because there's people around that'll take you down. And you can take that however you want to take it and what it means. But we know there are people that will take you out. When they're done with you, they're done with you. Now, there's different ways that happens. But they are on the prowl to get rid of this guy. He's become a big vote on Republican issues, and they are not happy. Oh, my goodness. Someone said, these are not red flags. This is a siren going off. John Fetterman is not taking his meds. He needs inpatient care. Oh, yeah, lock him away. That's what they want. But, yeah, they did no talk about him when he was running in the race against Dr. Oz. Everything was peachy. In fact, the Republicans, conservatives, were ridiculed. I sincerely thought he could not serve at that time. I really thought this man was just needed to take care of his health. I mean, from a human standpoint, I felt bad for Biden. I felt bad that he was pushed out there. It's obvious he was compromised. We all said it. Elder abuse. I can't stand his policies. Don't like him. But any human being, we got to have compassion. And when somebody is I've said, I have been in many memory care places, from the cheaper ones all the way to the very expensive ones. It don't matter. They all the same. When they start losing some of their mental capabilities, it's very sad. And there are no politics attached to the person as they walk around those places, and they can't. One day they know your name, and one day they don't. One day they're functioning and they can play games and eat by themselves, and other times they can't. And eventually they get put on special floors where they can't hurt themselves or run away. And it's a sad, sad, sad ending. And millions of Americans understand it and what they're going through. We do not want to see people impacted that way. I remember a gentleman that I worked with, and I remember one night he come to work. He was so sad, and his mom, for the first time, she didn't know who he was. It about broke him. Well, anybody who has a medical issue, my heart goes out. We can argue politics all day long, but I truly pray for people, and I wouldn't want to see Mr. Fetterman. I simply said he should step out and somebody else go in, and it probably was the right thing to do. But he didn't. He held these guns and he said, "I'm going to run," and he's weathered the storm. And every time he would speak, it got better and better and better. I mean, it started out, it was pretty rough. I mean, even some Democrats were like, they were biting, just on pins and needles, afraid of what he was going to say. But he got more clear and more clear and more clear and more clear. By the way, some of this articles goes back to when he was having those problems. But now, because he supports Israel and because he supports some Republican bills and he supports the president, not entirely, he makes it very clear. He dances back and forth on the issues. One day he's for something conservative, the other day he's not. But now he's an enemy to their party, and they want him out of the way. I mean, there were times when he was running against Dr. Oz, he didn't even speak. It looked like he was being led around. I mean, and I've always said I never cared for the whole hoodie look of, there should be a professional attire for a sitting senator in any state, especially the federal government. I'm a firm believer. I don't think you got to dress to the nines, but you need to have a suit or a dress if it's a lady or whatever. We don't want the guys in the dresses, but you know what I mean. And it's proper etiquette, But yeah, I didn't know if he was just messed up and he didn't, or he don't care. I don't know, but at times he has started dressing better. He has, and so we see an improvement there. And thank you for the like on Podbean. God bless you. And I've said I don't agree with everything he says, but we can't because he's a Democrat and there's things. But he is so moderate as a Democrat. He is at times he literally encompasses the very center between the two parties. It is though he has one leg in one party and one leg in another. And he's like in his mind, it's like he's got the scales of justice going on, like, well, I see this and then I see this. And but here's what I like about it. When he makes a decision, he's not wishy-washy about it. He makes a decision, he stands on it, and it doesn't matter who gets mad. And he gives his reasons and he doesn't back off of it. He says, I've studied it, I've researched it, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. I can respect that. He's not out here doing the crazy stuff and getting praised, running around on talk shows and acting foolish and making fun of people in wheelchairs or whatever the case may be. He's actually trying to legislate. And you know what? We don't always have to agree. I applaud the man, and I hope he truly does have his health situation completely where it needs to be. I don't see what I saw before. From what I see, I'm not there every day, but I just don't trust these people. These people are constantly, they will build you up, they will tear you down. When you're on their side, you could be laying in a hospital bed with machines running for you, and they would say you were okay if you were with them. If you turn and don't totally vote down the party line with them, they're so ready to find some sort of hit piece on you and push you off the cliff. Like I say, watch your back, brother. Watch your back. And more conservatives have said, hey, I like this guy. We don't agree on everything. No, but he's willing to listen. He actually makes sense. We could disagree on an issue and still say, I like this guy. And it's amazing. We came from, he was the butt of jokes. He was, being told you need to get out. You're in the way. They was mad about his outfit, and the Democrats are out there running full court press in defense of him. And and then he got, he elected, and like I said, he was late night fodder for comedians and everything else. Then the next thing you know, it's like the fog lifted. It's like all of a sudden he started talking coherently, not in broken, sentences and paragraphs. He actually started talking coherently and putting thoughts together. And then the next thing you know, he says, hey, I think I'm for this that the Republicans are for. It makes sense to me. Oh, they went up in smoke on the Democrat side. What are you doing? You can't side with them. He said, I'm my own man. I'm elected to legislate. I'm elected to lead. That's what I'm going to do. I like a guy like that. You need people like that. You know why? Because you can't make deals sometimes, because there's always going to be a couple of rhinos, right? More than a couple. They're going to bail out. Fetterman has become very important to counter the rhinos who look to screw over President Trump. He's one of a couple, three, but he's the lead dog in my book on countering that. And they can't stand it. Anyway, give the article a look over. What do you think? Think Fetterman is lost it, or does Democrats just don't like it because he is siding with Republicans on some, and the president on some legislation and some actions that have been taken, and big. Yeah, it's the same on here. If you come out, hey, listen, if you say I support Israel, and again, when I say I support Israel, you don't have to support every single thing they're doing. It's like saying I support a politician. You don't support every single little thing that somebody does. But, we could have disagreements about the Israeli government or their military or whatever, but you say, I support the right to Israel to exist, and, it's a mess over there, let's get it fixed, or whatever. But you can't, if you try to say it nowadays, you get attacked. We've been attacked here. We get attacked routinely We've made it clear. Basically, in the terms that I have said, that we support Israel's and their right to exist and defend themselves and everything else. Has things in Gaza went down off the rails? Sure. I don't know what all. I wasn't on the ground there or in the air or in the bird's eye view or whatever, but it's a mess and we got to get cleaned up. But you know what? I will say this: they were cheering on the people when they came over the border and started raping and killing and stealing and everything else. They didn't have nothing to say about that. You know what? When you wage war with somebody, what we say yesterday, war is hell. You better believe it is. And yeah, I know there's some protocols you can't go past versus the Geneva Convention. Do you think the terrorists are following any of that? Anyway, you could bounce that subject back and forth and back and forth. Some people have their minds that the Jewish people are the cause of every ill in the world. Okay, you got that right to your opinion. I support free speech and free thought. Absolutely. But he's not allowed to have that. They hate him for it. They hate him that he actually uses his mind, his gut, his experience, his whatever, his prayer. He's praying about it. I don't know. And he comes to a decision and he says, this is what I stand on. He gives his reasons. They're measured. They're well thought out. And he puts it on the line. He's not afraid to do that. And he knows the hate is coming, and here they come, and they just hate on him. And now they're trying to put hit pieces out there on him and trying to get him, staffers, former staffers and stuff. Jesus had some people they brought up on him too. And no, he's not Jesus. But let's just compare here. False accusers and everything else. There's always some people you can drag out of the woodwork and get them to complain about you. You've ticked off somebody in your life. Everybody's got enemies. Everybody's got somebody saying, David Cardell, boy, he's a loser. I mean, let me tell you some stuff he did. Always, always, always can find somebody to run you down. It's not hard. Not hard. But they're trying to take him out politically. I'll say that right now. But I also say, watch your back, brother. Watch your back. That about does it for the MAGA report tonight. I'd love to go more, but I know I did spend a little time there. I like Fetterman. We're going to come back and revisit this because I don't think this story is going to die out. I think you're going to see further hit pieces on him. They want him out of the way. They would love to get him removed by the midterms. Absolutely. This is going to be a continuing story. And I would say, as a person of faith, pray for him. I mean, he needs prayer. Pray for his health. Pray for his, that he's actually making an effort to be informed, to be knowledgeable, and he goes with what he thinks. And like I said, when he went against the grain and said, I support the president's nominations, they're not my first choices, but he's the president. Let the man get who he wants, and we'll see how he does. I respect that. Everything has turned into a fight in our country. Every single thing. And the Democrats are taking the lead in that. The last thing I'll say to Senator Fetterman, brother, if you have to, the Republican Party waits for you. Because I think they're done with you. They're wanting to strip that Democrat off your title. It's sad. It really is sad. There's a huge possibility that Governor Josh Shapiro is going to run for president as well. There's a lot of things lining up here. They're looking in the midterms, and they're looking 4 years down the road, and they're looking at votes and lining things up. That's what this is all about. Got to get Fetterman out of the way. We can't have him. He's a loose cannon. We can't control him. He's off the chain. We can't guarantee some votes. Sometimes he's with us. Sometimes he's against us. Oh, he sat at a table by himself and drank a soda. Are you kidding me? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How many times have I sat somewhere and just meditated and drank a soda or a cup of coffee? We'll see you in the morning. God bless you. Thanks for your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. I'm Dave in the AM. We must have a great night. It's getting late. How we did? We are in the late night. We're almost into the next day. We appreciate you, though. You're a blessing. Pray for those in the path of the storm. We do hope that that there's been no deaths or anything. Those are some pretty violent storms that were ripping across the country. And let's pray for our nation. Let's pray for each other. You know what? You can never run out of things to pray for. And if you think you have, pray for me. I promise you I need it. My wife needs it. My family needs it. And I will never turn down prayer. Prayer is one of the greatest gifts we've ever had. Of course, the greatest is salvation through Christ Jesus. But that gift of prayer, what a blessing to have prayer in our life. We'll see you in the morning. Take care. God bless.